Test. One, two. All right, so I guess we are ready to start. So good afternoon, everyone. So just to make sure that I am clear, I'd like to request any one of you to please put in on the chat part if my voice is understandable, if you can hear me aloud. So there's a part below, we call it the chat. You can send me a message to help me know if the line is clear. All right, so Mr. Jose Quinito, you are muted as part of the audience. So the one that can only talk is the speaker. All right. So thank you, Bless. Yeah, it's clear. So I guess we can already start. So good afternoon, everyone. Is it too loud? Just adjust your volume if ever. All right. So let's start. Good afternoon. My name is Jen. I am the pharmacist for USANA Philippines. And I am very happy once again to present to you the third installment of our webinar entitled Immunity and Proglucamune. So just to give you a background of who I am a pharmacist by profession. I've been with USANA 5 years 5 years if you'll combine it. And also, one of my research interests include immunomodulation. So it is very timely that we will be sharing with you certain information about the immune system because this is one of the key part of the new optimizer that the Philippines will be launching, which is the Proglucamune. So if the internet might be low, just listen to the audio. Don't worry. At the end of my talk, I can send you the link of the video and the audio of this webinar. And later on at 7 p.m., we will also be presenting the same audio and video recording in our 9th floor if you happen to be in the Enterprise Center. All right, so for the benefit of everyone, for those who are curious what the immune system is all about, you have to realize that our immune system is actually a protective means of our body because most of the time, bacteria, pathogens, virus, and even chemical barriers cause problems in the body. And when we are exposed of such, what happens is our body initially reacts. So if you would define immune system, this is not actually just an organ system. This is a functional system in the body that recognizes pathogens or chemical signals or items that could cause harm to the body. So basically, the immune system is important because it has an effect to protect our body against factors that may cause us to have disease. So since our body is exposed to bacteria, virus, and parasites, there should be a mechanism to react on that. And immune system coordinates this reaction, and most of the time the reactions involve wound healing, usually inflammation, usually repair, and the very common reaction of the immune system is what we know as the fever. So like what we always tell you during trainings, fever is not bad at all. Actually, fever is an indication that your body reacts to certain components such as bacteria, such as virus. All right, and when the body reacts, therefore it means that your body is functioning very well. So when you're exposed to certain bacteria, virus, parasites, and others, there are certain mechanisms that your body do to make sure that you are well and protected. So just to give you an idea, your immune system, on a summary, they detect pathogens. Not only that they fight it right away, they check it first if it is a good pathogen, or I mean, there's no good pathogen. What I mean is, is it a good component? Is it a bad component? And most of the time, because of its defensive mechanism, what it does is it does an initial response. So there is an initial invasion that happens. And if your immune system is well enough, if your immune system is functioning very well, then it may proceed into the capability of attacking or killing the pathogen. So before I thoroughly start, I am not giving you an idea that this could be the immune booster of the future. Our Proglucamune is something that we take to protect our immune system. But most of the time, some people are unaware that in order for your immune system to function well, you have to make sure that you give the right nutrients. So the direction that we would like people now to understand is there are certain nutrients, there are certain plant nutrients to be exact, that they boost your own immune system so that it can protect you directly. So as we proceed, there are two general parts of the immune system. So immune system is defined into what we call the innate immune system and the adaptive immune system. So the innate immune system is particularly non-specific and the adaptive immune system is specific. So in layman's term, it's like this. So just imagine you're alone in your house. So it's 3 in the morning. If you hear the door na open, di ba? Your initial response would be random. For some people, they may cover sa sheets nila o kaya sa kumot nila. Yung iba naman, ang gagawin nila is tatawag kagad or yung iba naman kakalma muna, titignan muna, baka tatay naman nila yung dumating sa bahay. So the innate immune system is our non-specific reaction. It may vary depending on what the body perceives. Kung bacteria ba yon or hindi naman nakakasama na component sa katawan. So in speaking of such, like what I said, your innate immune system is non-specific, alright? While your adaptive immune system naman is specific. Most of the time, most reactions are non-specific, and if happens to be severe, the body creates a memory, your immune cells creates a memory, and it becomes a specific or adaptive immune system. So, ikaklaro ko lang to para malinaw yung pagkakaintindi natin. The innate immune system is your non-specific initial reaction if there are certain pathogens that affect the body. While your adaptive is something that has been stored because your body had a history of how to manage a certain condition. Alright, so just to give you an idea, your innate immune system, usually this involves oxidative damage. And it doesn't mean na oxidative damage negative na siya. There are some times that your body has to do certain inflammation so that it can protect your body. There are some times that your body has to release allergens because the body might perceive na baka mayroong allergic conditions na maaring mangyari sa katawan mo. And then on the other hand, yun namang adaptive, ito naman yung usually yung mga immune-related disorders na. So kapag like for the case of HIV or yung AIDS, kapag na-compromise ka na, yung tinatawag nating immunocompromise, ang mga tinatarget na natin dito is yung ating adaptive immune system. So, para magka-idea tayo, I handed some definitions of the different components of the immune system. So, hindi naman namin kayo overwhelmed, but just to give you a review, why is it so important that you know your innate and adaptive immune system? Ladies and gentlemen, our innate immune system, which is the non-specific, may mga different factors yan. Meron tayong tinatawag na mast cells. Itong mast cells, in case that they see that there is a potential na mag-harm sa katawan mo, it releases histamine. We all know that histamine is an allergen. So, it doesn't mean na nag-allergy ka ay bad. Most of the time, nag-release ka ng allergens because this is a defense mechanism. Ang nagiging problema lang, when there's too much histamine, when there's too much allergy, doon na siya hindi nagiging maganda sa katawan. So, for example, pag naglakad ka sa grass, so one of the mechanisms is kakatihin mo yung paa mo kasi na-irritate yung skin mo. So, if you will not scratch that part, then baka nasugat ka na, hindi mo pa alam. So, most of the time as well, kapag tayo ay nasugat. So, bakit kailangang mag-flow yung dugo? Kasi para masigurado na ma-flush out yung mga bacteria or virus na nasa surface ng skin natin. So, this mechanism in our innate immune system usually functions and ang part na yan is yung ating mast cell. Another thing, yung dendritic cells, the violet that you see here, alright, para siyang sun na gulo-gulo. So, basically, dendritic cells are very important. They doesn't just help the innate immune system, pero they give your adaptive immune system the memory kung paano niya na-conquer yung mga bacterial invasion. So, what your dendritic cells do is they engulf, or ibig sabihin ng engulf, kinakain nila yung mga pathogens, nilulunok nila yung pathogens, tapos dinadigest nila into small factors hanggang hindi na siya mag-form ng sakit. So, dendritic cells, they engulf the pathogens, alright? And usually, ito yung mga pumupunta sa lymph nodes natin. So, di ba, usually napapansin mo, pag inuubo ka, parang namamaga yung lymph nodes ko. So, kaya ka nagkakaroon ng lymph nodes, ito yung mga basura na nakain ng iyong dendritic cells. So, just to translate it in English, the bacteria or the pathogens that were exposed to your dendritic cells, they digest that, they engulf that, and what usually happens is they get stored in your lymph. Yung lymph natin, this is our excretory part of the body aside from the skin, and it's stored into the nodes. Kaya pag nagpa-check up ka sa doktor, usually nawakan yung lymph mo, and they would tell you, oh, may lymph nodes ka, may mga bukol ka. So that doesn't mean na bukol siya, cancer na agad, but these are just the waste materials of your body that was digested by the dendritic cells. Tapos, meron tayong tinatawag na macrophage, okay? So, ito yung mga pulis ng katawan natin. So, these are your defense or first line of defense in the body. So, usually, when they perceive that this is not good, they engulf it right away. And when they engulf it, what's good with this is that they create an antigen. Ibig sabihin ng antigen, nagkikreate siya ng memory. Memory on how to fight this, and that is stored in your adaptive immune system. And then we also have itong red na may dot na parang may yolk sa gitna. We call this the natural killer cells. So a lot of immunologists now has been studying the option of enhancing your natural killer cells because your natural killer cells, they kill abnormal cells. And one of the known abnormal cells that we have now is the cancer cells. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have an intensified innate immunity, when I say intensified, if you provide the right nutrient to your innate immunity, you can provide these different parts of the innate immune system the right function because of the right nutrition. So, kaya minsan sinasabi natin, bakit mahalagang mag-antioxidants? Why is it so important to take your vitamins and minerals, specifically those who are bioavailable? It is because when you have the right nutrients, your immune cells function at its best. And one component of your immune cell is your natural killer cells. Kaya hindi ko mako-contest that there are some who would claim that a product may be anti-cancer. But of course, you have to prove it to certain researches, of course. But naturally, if you give your body the right nutrients, your natural killer cells will function. And that would prevent you to the possibility of cancer. Though again, I'm not telling that our products can stop cancer. But again, what I'm telling you is your body has the key to heal itself. Okay? Ang katawan natin may capacity siya na ayusin yung sarili niya. Bigyan mo lang siya ng tamang nutrients. And then we have complement proteins. These complement proteins, they just help your immune system to function better and to have the right direction. Tapos, meron tayong tinatawag nating granulocytes. Granulocytes involve your basophil, eosinophil, and neutrophil. So just to give you an idea, when you get your CBC or your blood cell count, okay, most of the time you see this. And most doctors would perceive certain infections when they check your granulocytes. So your basophils, this increases or decreases depending on its reaction to parasites and allergies. On the other hand, you have your eosinophils. Usually, these may increase or decrease depending on certain allergic reaction. And then you also have your neutrophil. Okay, napakahalaga nitong neutrophil because they respond right away to bacteria and virus. The problem lang with neutrophil is that you have to make sure you have healthy neutrophils because although they are abundant, they die in fighting. So, kumbaga, once they have done their task, they die. So, you have to make sure you refill it right away or might as well increase the capacity of your natural killer cells. So, this innate immunity, itong mga army na to that is in the innate immune system, this is so important because this is your first-hand defense. If ever there are some invaders that gets into your body. Ano ba nga ang yung mga invaders? These are your simple colds, flu, bacterial infection, parasite infection, at marami pang mga factors. So, if hindi na kaya ng innate immune system, if the innate immune system cannot do it anymore, so through time, we may have the disease. It doesn't mean you have the disease, it's wrong already. Actually, having a disease is a good thing because this gives your cells, your immune cells, the memory. Para kapag nagkasakit ka na ulit, alam na ng katawan mo how to fight against it. And the one that stores the memory is what we call your B cells and your T cells. Okay? Your B cells and your T cells is important primarily because your B cells and your T cells, they initiate the release of what we call your immunomodulation component. So, ito yung mga alam na natin, yung mga antibodies, yung mga interleukins. So, just not to make it too technical, napakahalaga kasi that your adaptive immune system also functions well. Because if there are certain infections that your innate immunity cannot work with, ang to the rescue na more specific is your adaptive immunity. So just to put it in layman's term, your innate immunity is your first line of defense army. Sila yung frontliner. Sometimes, of course, you cannot say that the frontliners are the sharpshooters. So dun sa mga nakatagong mga part ng army, yung mga sharpshooters, ito yung tinatawag nating adaptive immunity. They are specialized, they are specific. So kaya nga 'di ba sa case ng HIV, so 'di ba ang sinasabi, we have to increase the CD4, okay? Why? Kasi there are certain parts na kapag ka ang CD4 mababa, then the immune system is not functionable as the normal people. So in terms of adaptive immunity, yung ating T cells, okay, and B cells, they are very important. So the B lymphocytes na tinatawag natin, they produce antibodies, all right? And then yung T lymphocytes naman, they produce different kinds of cells. So why do I elaborate on this? I elaborate on this because I want to give a message, particularly those who are breastfeeding. Most of you are unaware that you transfer, all right, through your breast milk, immune cells. And most of the time, some women are unaware, all right, na yung mga sakit na napaglabanan ng katawan mo, those memory cells that have been stored, okay, you transfer that to your child, particularly through the breast milk. And if you give your child a good B cell memory, a good T lymphocyte memory, that could give your child the higher chance of survival and the higher chance of kumbaga, compensating or fighting a specific disease. Kaya, immunity is not just protecting your immune system. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to send a message that immunity is so important because particularly for women who has the power to do the breastfeeding, you give the capacity to survive to your kid. Parang USB yan. Yung mga memory ng immune cells mo, pag nagpa-breastfeed ka, lalo na yung first 2 years sa bata, pinapasa mo yung memory ng USB dun sa anak mo. So, just imagine children who did not do breastfeeding. Of course, we understand there are some mothers na inverted nipple, so talagang mahirap sila mag-breastfeeding. But it's really, really hard if your kids doesn't do breastfeeding. Because you're not just giving the nutrition, but you are preventing them from developing immune cells. So, dito sa adaptive immunity, I'd like to talk on yung cytotoxic T cells. Pag hindi na kaya ni natural killer cells, yung certain possible cancer cells, isa sa mga gagalaw dyan, or isa sa mga mag-function, is your cytotoxic T cells. So if you would listen to me, I'd like you to understand that it's so important that you give a specific nutrient to your immune cell because this innate and adaptive immunity, they function together not just to protect you, but just to ensure as well na nagkakaroon ka ng continuous protection, may it be a non-specific or specific. You don't just make sure na ang naalagaan mo lang is yung frontline defense mo. You have to also make sure that you take good care of your sharpshooters, which are your adaptive immunity, your B lymphocytes and your T lymphocytes. Most of the time, when your innate immunity or your innate cells, yung mast cells, dendritic, macrophages, if they are not well taken care of, then nagkakaroon din sila ng negative feedback or negative effects sa adaptive immunity. So, if you may not get it today, just re-listen and re-listen to this webinar in the coming future and I'm sure you will figure this out. So, nung tinuro ko to nung ako yung nagtuturo sa college, it's a 1-week lecture. So, maintindihan ko kung medyo mahirapan kayo at the moment. But just restudy and restudy this. So, I am telling you this because this is in relation to the coming slides. Alright? So, ano ba yung secret killer? Alright? Why am I telling or why are we talking about this? The secret killers actually, if you don't give the right nutrients to your immune cells, most of the time, they overwork or they underwork. Kaya nga I always tell people, never use the term, oh, ang USANA nakaka-increase ng immune system because when you say that a product increases the immune system, this promotes allergy. And on the other hand, when you say that the product decreases the immune system, this may cause cancer. So we wouldn't want that. So what we are trying to elaborate here is that if your innate and adaptive immune system, if they function well, if they're given the capacity to function well, they can address inflammation. Okay? Kasi like what I said, inflammation is not bad. Inflammation is actually good. But when there's too much inflammation, it can lead to heart attack, cancer, Alzheimer, and other related disease. And even some people, they're not aware ang obesity or ang increase ng weight sa form of inflammation. So what do you do with that? Aside from ayusin mo yung food mo, exercise, and the others, you have to give your immune cells the right nutrients in order for your immune system to balance out inflammation. I remember when I had my training in Singapore with Dr. Spellman, he's actually demonstrating that inflammation is like walking in a rope, di ba? Kapag naglalakad ka sa lubid, kailangan may certain balance. Hindi naman po pwedeng left side lang, right side lang. There are some times that you have to have a bit of inflammation in order for your body to function. Like for example, pag masakit ang ngipin natin, bakit kailangan mamaga? It is because this is a signal that there's a growth of bacteria. If there will be no inflammation, how will we know if there is a growth of bacteria or nana, diba? So, inflammation is a cardinal sign to actually help us realize that there is something wrong in the body. But most of the time, when there's too much inflammation, that is our secret killer. So, the immune system can be turned on and turned off. And how do we do that? If we give the right nutrients. I remember we were talking about this when we discussed epigenetics, right? And part of epigenetics is understanding your immune cells. And as you understand your immune cells, you have to know that, like what I said a while ago, there are certain phytochemicals, there are certain nutrients that could give a signal or that could give a direction to your cell in order for it to function better. So, how do we maintain balanced health? So, usually, in terms of inflammatory response, dapat balance eh. Kumbaga, dapat nasa middle part or dapat at least you know how to do it well. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we want you to understand is that immune system is not just a simple thing na hindi ka magkakasakit. There are certain times that you have to develop certain allergy condition, certain inflammation because this can do good in your body. But pag sumusobra na siya, doon na tayo nagkakaroon ng certain issues. So, ano yung kailangan natin? What we need is something that supports not just your cellular health, but especially your immune health. Because the immune system doesn't just affect your immune system, it also affects the entire channel and cell signaling of your body. And when I say the entire cell signaling of your body, it affects the function, the adaptability, the protection that your body can do. And most of the time, yung mga tinatawag nating degenerative diseases, these are actually related to malfunctioning or not functioning at all immune cells. And the problem is, when you have immune cell problem, hindi mo yan nakikita via feature. Hindi yan yung parang physical na pag nadapa ka, may sugat ka. Most of the time, inflammation or diseases like degenerative, they are within you. They could be a heart disease, a diabetes, alright? Most of the time, you'll never know na nga kung sinong may diabetes based on feature eh. Minsan they say na pag maitim yung leg, may diabetes, but not necessarily. There are some people who may look okay, but sometimes they have a disease. So we are targeting people or everybody to take good care of their immune health because this has a long-term effect to prevent degenerative diseases. So USANA now has a three-phase approach, all right, to support our cellular health. Number one is to make sure that you provide the proper nutrient in order for our cells to function. When your immune cells are given the right phytochemical, a specific phytochemical, yung tinatawag nating cellularly specific antioxidants or ingredients, kaya niyang signalan yung cell mo to actually do its job. Most of the time, people are unaware that if you just give the right fuel to your cells, they can propel themselves. They can function better. And when your cells can function better by themselves because they were given or geared, all right, then they can do their action. So in layman's term, para mas maintindihan ninyo, parang ganito yan. Hindi ka naman papasa sa college dahil sa teacher mo. Ginigear ka lang ng teacher mo. But because you're empowered, then saka ka nakagraduate, saka mo nagawa yung dreams mo. So, same thing with our body. Usana is not something that you will just depend kasi pag ininom mo to, lalakas ka, not necessarily. Usana is designing, alright? Not just making, designing certain antioxidants, certain plant nutrients that will make your cell empowered, make your cell functionable so that it can do its specific action. So, hindi mo na lang binubusog yung katawan mo ngayon ng vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. You are already directing your cells to do what they are supposed to do. And when they have or they are empowered to do what they're supposed to do, then it can actually work efficiently. So, ano mangyayari is, it will help the immune cells to work faster. Alright? So, in terms of maintaining health response, of course, we have good supplements to assist you with that. But alongside with that, we also have to realize that there are certain parts na dapat mag-contribute din tayo. And what do I mean? Even if we have the best supplement that could provide immune cell protection, we also have to exercise and sleep. Actually, there's a study nga out of all the mammals, alright, those who are well-rested, they are the healthiest in terms of immune cells. Not sleeping on time is one of the key elements that we see why obesity is getting higher in the Philippines. Sa paglaki po ng call center industry, alright, pasintabi lang po, we observe the increase of weight because of a metabolism problem, because sleep is not as regular compared before. So, for those who are trying to lose weight, one of the suggestions of doctors, alright, particularly yung ating pong mga endocrinologists, is we really have to regularly sleep. So aside from that, exercising also is very important. So of course, aside from exercise and sleep, a healthy diet is really important for immune system. So sometimes they would say, oh, just eat na lang, healthy diet lang naman pala yung kailangan. But ladies and gentlemen, just to clarify, there are some times that we cannot get the right nutrients every day, especially if you're on the go, if you're a busy person. Sometimes we tend to eat fast food or other related foods, right? So we need something to bridge the nutritional gap. And what is that? That is nutrition. So as we move further, all right, I'd like to formally introduce to you our new optimizer, which is available now in the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, we're so happy that finally Proglucamune is in the Philippines. So Proglucamune is our dietary supplement. In the bottle, it's 56 tablets. So just to give you an idea, Proglucamune is our optimizer that specifically acts to help us attain a good immune cell function, all right? And in speaking of immune cell function, this is something that can help assist your innate immune system and your adaptive immune system. So in terms of that, this is our everyday immune defense, and just to give you an idea, our Proglucamune contains what you call your beta-glucan, alright? So the beta-glucan comes from the baker's yeast, so its scientific name is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, alright? So this beta-glucan, for some people who are not aware, this is usually a part of the diet that most of the Chinese take, alright, during mga 1600, so forth and so on. They have recognized based on research that beta-glucan is a very important component because aside from being a polysaccharide, beta-glucan has an important effect, right, in our immunological factor. So just to give you an idea, ano ba yun? So the beta-glucan, what it does is that this enhances immune response, okay? And in terms of enhances immune response, this gives the body a better resistance to infection. Pag sinabi mong resistance to infection, it can fight the infection itself. Therefore, nape-prevent yung mga possibility of us to be very dependent with antibiotic. So most of the time, when patients have taken all the possible antibiotics, usually nagkakaroon ng antibiotic rest, and most doctors would prescribe beta-glucan para naman yung katawan mo ma-enhance yung immune system so that you can fight certain simple bacteria that could come your way. So, certain bacteria that could be simple and pwede mo namang labanan, these are your simple cough and cold. And we call this a part of your upper respiratory tract infection. Alright, so how do beta-glucans work? Alright, beta-glucans work simple. Pagka na-digest natin yan, alright, so it will go to our Peyer's patches, which is in our small intestine. And once it is absorbed, alright, the component goes to our immune system parts of the body. So these are your tonsils, your lymph nodes, your thymus, your appendix, your bone marrow, and when these parts, itong mga tonsil, appendix, bone marrow, spleen, and others, when these are given the right nutrient, what it will do is it will enhance your macrophages. So, naalala niyo yung macrophages kanina? Macrophages are your defense mechanisms in the body. Alright, so pagka malakas or nakakain yung macrophages mo ng beta-glucan, it will be more enhanced. And when it's more enhanced, it can do its function better. So basically, this beta-glucans, when it gets to your body, sa Peyer's patches maaabsorb yan, yan ay mahahati pa into small components. Okay? At pag nahati yan sa small components, pag nakain yan ng macrophages, it serves as the vitamin of your macrophages. So just imagine, if your innate immune cells, they have eaten the right nutrient they deserve, then definitely they will function at its finest. So not only that, it also binds to your neutrophils. So kapag nakakakita siya ng mga possible virus or bacteria, mabilis niya yung ma-recognize. And when the neutrophils recognizes this, then they can definitely kill foreign challenges right away. So isn't it a good news that there are certain ingredients such as this that helps improve the immune system? So bakit ka mag-antibiotic agad-agad if you can just enhance your own immune cells in order for the body to function? But again, as a pharmacist, most doctors would prescribe antibiotic depending on the severity of your bacterial invasion, or antiviral depending on the severity of your viral invasion. Pero kung simple lang naman, might as well just enhance your own immune cells and let the body protect itself. Noong mga panahon naman ng 19 kopong-kopong, wala namang antibiotic right away, di ba? But why do they have prolonged life? It is because they are having the right nutrients, or they are eating the right nutrients that protect their body. So again, as I review, beta-glucans, we have sourced this through the baker's yeast. The problem lang with baker's yeast is that some people could not manufacture it because there are some purity issues. And because we're USANA, of course, we assure you that we get the highest possible purity in terms of the product. So just to discuss further, beta-glucan, when it goes into the macrophages, it enhances what you call the priming. Alright? Pag sinabi mong priming, kumbaga, ini-empower niya. And in speaking of the macrophages, as what we have discussed a while ago, if your macrophages were able to eat, okay, were able to engulf certain bacteria, it will send a memory cell to your T cell and B cell. And once the memory is transferred, what's good with this is that once that invader comes again, your T cell and B cell will specifically shot them. Di ba? Sila yung mga sniper. So the body will be faster to recover for those repeated diseases. So ano ba yung mga example ng repeated diseases? Ito yung mga sipon, ubo, di ba? And most of the time, it's so sad that people would not come to work dahil nagkaroon ng sipon at ganun kalala. So if you happen to know these people, this is the right optimizer that we would like to recognize, we would like to give them. Why? Because this empowers your macrophages, your innate immune system, to prime and send a memory to your adaptive immune system para mas mabilis yung recovery mo sa mga paulit-ulit na diseases. Alright, so just to give you an idea, yung priming, parang ganito yan in the picture. So once you have your beta-glucan, kakainin yan ng macrophages, or if I may speak in English, when the beta-glucan gets into the body from your supplementation, so the macrophages eats it. Diba? Kasi baka na-recognize na this is something bad ba or something good. And when the macrophages was able to eat it, it will activate And once you have an activated macrophage, what will happen is it will kill the pathogen. And after eating the pathogen, what's good is it will send a memory to your adaptive immune system to tell how to manage it faster so that if ever the invader comes back again, the body has higher chances of survival. So this is also another picture of the oral beta-glucan. So it also goes with the same explanation that I have presented. So sa issue of cancer, one of the studies that we are studying or reviewing now is the possibility of adding beta-glucan as part of management. Why? It's because when the macrophages, like what I said a while ago, engulfs or eats the beta-glucan, diba, it gets enhanced. And once it gets enhanced, it releases, all right, byproducts that will also influence your natural killer cells sa innate immune system and your cytotoxic L lymphocyte, yung sa adaptive immune system. When you have strengthened natural killer cells and cytotoxic T lymphocytes, this can act, all right, to the cancer cell so that you can kill the cancer cell or might as well lessen the possibility of duplication ng cancer cell. So, in layman's term, pag yung iyong macrophages, which is a component of your innate immune system, pag yan na-enhance mo yan, nabigyan mo yan ng tamang nutrients, lalakas yan. At sa paglakas niyan, i-activate niya pa yung mga kasamahan niya. Particularly sa innate, yung natural killer cells, enhance niya yan. I-enhance niya rin yung cytotoxic T cells. And when these two cells, itong NK cells and T cells, when they work better, they can lessen the lifespan of cancer cells. So, what's good with this? Kung wala kang cancer, mas okay. Why? Because the possibility of growth of certain cancer cells could be prevented. So, this is one of the mode of action or the mechanisms that we are considering. That's why we are recommending beta-glucan in general for those who are managing cancer. We're not telling that this is the primary gamot. It's not. Of course, marami pang i-consider. But what's good is the body itself has the capacity to kill that cancer cell or lessen the activity of the cancer cell. So, hindi naman lahat ng cancer bad because we have what we call the malignant, which is the bad, and the benign, which is the not so bad. But might as well, dapat yung katawan natin free from this. So, I hope you get the point. Alright? So, beta-glucan reduces also upper respiratory tract infection. This is one of the researches that was written by Sean M. et al. In 2012 based on the Journal of American Nutrition. Alright? So, andyan naman yung source sa module. So, aside from the possibility of improving the immune system, when they did a study on upper respiratory tract infection, they were surprised that when they checked 70 healthy women, alright, ang ginawa nila, hinati nila sa two groups, isang placebo, yung walang ininom na tableta lang, parang kumbaga powder lang ininom, and then yung isa with beta-glucan. And they have observed that in 12 weeks, there was a reduction of risk of upper respiratory tract infection of those who took something with beta-glucan. So, ano ba yung product natin may beta-glucan? That is your Proglucamune. Alright, so aside from beta-glucan, what's good with our Proglucamune is that it contains reishi mushroom. So, this is one of the phytochemicals I was telling you a while ago, one of the nutrients we are adding because reishi mushroom, also called lingzi, is actually very important to increase or improve the immune-enhancing capabilities of our cells. So, ang reishi mushroom in particular, they have an effect, alright, to improve our heart and spleen. Particularly, ang spleen, just to give you an elaboration, spleen is a very important part of the body because most of the immune responses also happen in the spleen. So, yung mga tao na may issue sa fatigue, sa poor appetite, sometimes it's correlated with the function of your spleen. Okay? And one of the phytonutrients that we suggest in terms of such is your reishi mushroom. Also is yung shiitake mushroom, alright? So, shiitake mushroom is a type of mushroom as well, but this is more on specific. there's a lot of studies now that show that this specific master mushroom has an effect in our immune cells, okay? Particularly saan? Yung sa adaptive immunity natin. So, anong ginagawa niya? Ini-increase niya yung capacity ng macrophage, or it increases the capacity of the macrophages. And if your macrophages, like what we have discussed, is healthy and well, then definitely it will destroy foreign pathogens that could affect the body. So, isn't it exciting that we are not just getting this in our diet, because most of the time, di mo naman ito makakain araw-araw eh. But we are putting that in our supplementation, which is in Proglucamune. So just to add on it, aside from beta-glucan, aside from shiitake, aside from reishi, we are also adding here the zinc. Alright? Zinc is an important mineral. Alright? Zinc is in essentials, as we know. However, we added this because zinc has a particular effect on the immune system. So like we have been discussing in the past few webinars, diba? Sometimes they would ask you, bakit ang daming laman ng essentials? Why is it that essentials contains a lot, alright? And the basic thing there is that you have to understand that each nutrients are organ specific. And one of the specific organs that zinc act on is actually your immune cells, not just your immune system. So an adequate amount of zinc reduces the possibility of your simple common colds, and not only that, if you have sufficient zinc, it can actually help improve your immune response. So kumbaga, mas mabilis na nag-aak yung katawan mo, mas alert yung immune cells mo so they can function better. So just to give you a summary of the Proglucamune benefits, so it contains 4 ingredients: the baker's yeast, which contains the beta-glucan, the reishi mushroom, and the shiitake mushroom. Not only that, it contains a mineral we call zinc. So baker's yeast, in general, they act on your innate and adaptive immune system. Then your reishi mushroom, it's actually very good to help improve, alright, the deficiency and the fatigue that could happen in your bodies. It also has an immune function enhancement capability in terms of its content. Alright, in general, yun yung effect ng reishi. Then we have the shiitake that, based on studies, has an immunomodulating effect. Ibig sabihin lang ng immunomodulating effect, it imposes the right reaction in a situation. Meaning, if there is a pollen that goes to your nose, the best reaction is you sneeze. So if you have this phytonutrients coming from these mushrooms, then your body could function better. Then it's added with zinc because this is a nutrient specifically acting to your immune system. So Proglucamune is our everyday vitamin, and as much as possible, we'd like to recommend this for everybody, particularly the adults. This is not designed for children, so as much as possible, what's my common advice? If you have infants, you encourage breastfeeding. Especially if the mom takes this, the baby and the mommy benefits on such, all right? And on the diet, encourage your children to take shiitake mushroom and also reishi mushroom. And in terms of vitamins, para sa mga bata naman, it should have zinc, and we have that in our use animals. So this is a good optimizer that you can add to your regimen because specifically this acts on your immune cell. This contains the specific nutrients that help improve your immune cells. So Proglucamune supports all aspects of immunity, from innate to adaptive, and it actually helps your body adapt, particularly to the different exposures that our body could be presented with. Minsan hindi mo alam, may nakipag-appear lang sa'yo. So, maaring may bacteria yon. So, you have to really make sure that you get the right protection your body needs. Particularly in USANA, we are in a type of a relational business. We meet a lot of people. So, you'll never know the pathogen exposure that we can have. I'm not telling mandiri ka sa mga tabi-katabi mo. Of course not. Okay? But what I'm trying to tell you is you have to protect your body. And part of that is taking the nutrient specific ingredients that helps your immune system. So, of course, never forget the foundation of cellular nutrition. So, aside from your Proglucamune, we encourage your essentials, right? And also, we encourage your Biomega. So, this contains essential fatty acids that helps your brain function better. And not only that, in speaking of inflammation, one thing that helps your body adjust from overinflammation or underinflammation is your Biomega because of its nature of having the EPA and the DHA. So one thing that helps improve the immune system is also your Biomega. Along with that, of course, we also encourage probiotics. So in the Philippines, we don't have yet the Fiber G, all right, but we'll be having that soon, all right, very, very soon in a different packaging. But like what we have discussed before with probiotics is important because this specifically acts on the immune cells that are situated in our gut, in our colon, in our intestine. So just imagine if you have good bacteria, it will help you digest the food better. If you have good bacteria, it will help you maintain, all right, a good sound immune function. So napakahalaga niya talaga. Then, again, Proglucamune. Okay, so let me just share with you some good things about Proglucamune just to empower your belief in this particular product. Proglucamune not only supports the immune system, but it's also very important to lessen the possibilities of allergy. Okay? Again, nung pinag-aralan natin yung mechanism ng mga innate immune cells at saka ng mga adaptive immune cells, it is studied that beta-glucan, like what I said a while ago in the Baker's yeast, it has the capacity to actually activate your macrophages. And when your macrophages are activated, they are alert. And when they are alert, then they can protect you. And sa usapang allergy naman, alright, you have to understand that allergies are overreactions of your immune system. So if you have the right amount of beta-glucan, absorbable amount of beta-glucan, this can help modulate your immune system so that the body can normalize its immune reaction. So beta-glucan has the capacity to help the immune system adjust in overreaction or underreaction. So if there's an improved immune system, okay, then you will likely feel better. So lalo na sa respiratory health, all right? I'm not telling this is a medicine, but again, this is something to manage certain respiratory problems, all right? Syempre may gamot kung kinakailangan, pero for preventive wise, we all know that we have a lot of environmental pollutants and contribute na rin dyan yung overuse ng antibiotic, yung tinatawag nating antibiotic resistance. So again, beta-glucan has a beneficial role. Why? Because it helps improve the immune function, okay? Yung pag-release ng mucus, yung pag-release ng phlegma, alright? And not only that, it gives the body the chance to react appropriately in the situation. So the proper functioning of your immune system is crucial, all right? Particularly with the invaders that get into the body. And this yeast-derived, itong mga beta-glucan na to, has been confirmed in a lot of studies to have a beneficial effect in common colds and respiratory syndrome. So there was a study, if I may share with you, by Talbot and Talbot in 2012, together with Oringer et al. In 2013, and they have presented in their paper na merong positive effect talaga ang yeast-derived beta-glucan, yun yung ating Baker's yeast, to help improve, okay, common colds and simple respiratory syndrome. So as a pharmacist, ang layman's term ko lang ito, bakit ka magsastock ng mga cough and cold medications if you can enhance your own immune system so that the body can fight against common colds and flu, right? So hindi pa alam yung mga possible side effects ng mga cough and cold medications na yan. So might as well just enhance your own body and the body can function appropriately. And there are also some studies, alright, na nakakatulong din ito sa pag-improve ng lung health and immune health natin, especially when we are exposed to secondhand smoke. And also, obesity, okay? Ito lang, again, like what we commonly tell you, inflammation is an immune problem. And obesity is an inflammation. And some people are unaware of that. So, I'm not telling that pag ininom mo yung Proglucamune, papayat ka na, but might as well, when the body has a balanced inflammation, then the body could recognize that there is something wrong. Low-grade inflammatory levels are markers of obesity. So, when the body has low-grade inflammations, then hindi mo nararamdaman na bumibigat ka na pala, hindi mo nararamdaman na nag-gain ka na ng weight. And we all know that in obesity, this leads to cardiovascular problems, diabetes, yung tinatawag natin na multiple diseases, all right? So we wouldn't want this to happen. And that multiple diseases, we define that as metabolic diseases. So again, this is not just for the lungs, this is not just for respiratory, but this is an overall optimizer that should be on your auto ship because this affects all the aspect of our health. So this is the nutritional support system in terms of immune health that we have in USANA Philippines. And I encourage everybody to share the good news that finally Proglucamune is in the Philippines. We would like to give the Filipinos an equal chance, not only the Filipinos, but everybody listening in this webinar, an equal chance to enhance our own body so that the body can function very well. So for my presentation, I'd like to give credit to our Executive Vice President for Health and Education, Brian Dixon, and also to our Assistant Field Development Manager, David Zhu from Australia. So they have helped me develop this module, and we hope that we have, I was able to share with you good information about Proglucamune. So if you're here in the Philippines, this is already available on the shopping cart. So you can order this at 1,900 pesos at 19 sales volume points. So for those who are unaware, these two guys on the picture is Simon Greatwich and Miss Hag Bahadoran. So they belong to the team USANA Pilipinas athlete, alright? And they are member of the Philippine ASCAL. So you would see more of them, alright, in the events that we'll be having in USANA. And more than anything, alright, ang gusto namin sa USANA kayo yung bida. And paano ka magiging bida? Kailangan healthy ka. Kailangan nagagawa mo yung purpose mo. And we are very excited that, again, on June 26, we will be launching this particular product. So before I end, for those who are listening on the webinar, I'd like to thank everybody who gave their overwhelming support to the True Health Foundation. After we have announced that the donations are open, marami pong tumulong from the webinar audience and they have donated to the True Health Foundation. So we have the best products, but we also have the best company that cares about the community. And each $1 donation, right, gives 4 meals, right, to every country na possible na nagiging donor ng tulong ng True Health Foundation. So for those who are not yet auto-shipping on their donation for the True Health Foundation, again, log into your auto-order and then yung next mong ilalag is yung add more products and you can choose kung ano yung gusto nyong tulungan sa True Health Foundation. So I hope the webinar was clear. I hope everything was satisfied, or everybody rather was satisfied. So if you want to get a copy of the webinar link, particularly yung tatlong trainings that we have. So later on, probably after 30 minutes, I'll be sending that through the email. So wag na ho kayong mag-alala, malaki na po yung memory natin ng email, so naiwasan yung mga bouncing. So I would encourage everybody to send out an email request. So my email address is jen.blasurga@ph.usana.com. And in that email, you could request the presentation or the webinar rather of what we have presented today. So we hope for your support in sharing this good news, this new optimizer, and rest assured that USANA is designing more clinically relevant products, not just for the USANA family, but for the entire world, because we all deserve to enjoy quality of life, and we would like to make the USANA family the healthiest family on earth. So if you're not yet a member of USANA, if you're not yet a part of the USANA family, you have to make sure that you make the decision now. Making the decision now will not just change your life, will also change your family's life, because everything starts in loving your health, and that's why we are USANA. So once again, thank you very much, and I hope that you have enjoyed the webinar. Thank you so much.